Democratic incumbent Congressman and Majority Whip Jim Clyburn has held his seat representing South Carolina's 6th District since 1992. Joining us is his Republican opponent, Duke Buckner, who intends on breaking Clyburn's 30-year streak. Welcome.
Good morning, Layla. Pleasure to meet you.
Very nice to have you.
Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations is in order.
Thank you.
You've won the primary to go up against Jim Clyburn. Why do you think now is the time to turn that blue seat red?
Well, the 6th Congressional District has been suffering for a very long time. For the last 30 years, the district has not grown. It's been stagnant, low wages, increased crime, and the educational system has not met the needs of the children, and it's time for that suffering to end.
Now, Jim Clyburn, holding that seat for 30 years, he's the third-ranking Democrat in Congress. He has tremendous influence in the White House, helped Joe Biden earn the Democratic nomination here in South Carolina. So that's a pretty tough challenge. Do you find that there's going to be some hurdles getting to that place?
Unfortunately, Mr. Clyburn's influence in Washington, D.C. has not trickled, quote unquote, trickled down to the 6th Congressional District. The median income for the 6th Congressional District is $41,000. The national average is $65,000. So the 6th Congressional District is $24,000 below the national median income. When you have individuals, 3% of the population driving an hour to an hour and a half to get to work every day, with gas being high, food is high, and you're right, but for Mr. Clyburn's endorsement of then candidate Joe Biden, President Biden wouldn't be president today. And look at what we've received as a result of that endorsement. Number one, we have mandatory vaccinations. We have record high inflation. And again, gas and food prices are astronomical.
Let's talk about the 6th District. In terms of size, it's quite a large swath of South Carolina.
Yes, ma'am. It's 14 counties are in the district, and I call them the forgotten counties. And they're forgotten because, again, the growth has gone all across the state of South Carolina, but the 6th Congressional District is the poorest district in the state, with the forgotten counties of Allendale and Hampton and Bamberg and Jasper and Colleton, where I'm from, Clarendon, Calhoun, and Williamsburg in the quote-unquote corridor of shame. And it's been that way for 30 years, and it's time for that to change.
How long have you lived there?
Pretty much my whole life, yes. Outside of going to law school down in Florida. I came back in 2009, so I pretty much lived in the district my whole life.
So you have a legal background. Let's talk a little bit more about the qualifications that you have. Have you ever run for an office before? Have you ever held a public office?
Yes, I ran for the Walterboro City Council, and I served on the City Council. I also ran in 2020 against Senator Lindsey Graham, and so that's my experience, political experience and background. And but professionally, I started my career as I went to South Carolina State University in Orangeburg and graduated there, and I went on to get my degree in English education. So after college, I taught in the public schools. I taught 7th and 8th grade language arts, and then I taught at the high school, and then my wife and I, we went into business for ourselves, and we started a weekly newspaper. So for 6.5 years, we published a weekly newspaper right there in Colleton County. And then, but my heart was always to go to law school, and then finally I was able to get accepted to a school down in South Florida called Nova Southeastern University.
Now, Jim Clyburn is also a former educator. Do you ever see eye to eye on any of his policies?
You know, Mr. Clyburn, from my understanding, was a history major at South Carolina State. So we have a lot in common. He went to South Carolina State. I went to South Carolina State. His major was history. My major was English, English education. He taught school for a brief period, and so did I. But then our paths totally changed. He continued to work for the government. I went into business for myself. And so with his background in history, he's done great for historical preservation, you know, creating Gullah Geechee corridor and getting people's names on buildings and their names in the congressional record. But as for economic growth and development, jobs, improving education, and reducing crime, that hasn't been his focus. And so I'm asking the voters of the 6th Congressional District to pass the baton to me and let me do what I know how to do using my experience as a lawyer, as a former public school teacher, and as a businessman.
And what would be the first item on your agenda if you were to be elected?
Well, number one, we got to get the economy going again, and we've got to reduce the gas prices. And the way to do that is to reduce the corporate tax rate. Right now, under the Biden proposal, he wants it at 28%, which I think is way too high. In the fact that we're moving into a recession, we need to reduce the corporate tax rate down to below 20% or below, so that companies can begin to feel more confident and invest and hire more people. When you have more people working, then that helps to improve the economy as a whole. So definitely reducing the corporate tax rate and reducing regulations from businesses.
Well, Duke, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any final words for our audience?
Yes, thank you very much, Layla. And also I'd like to challenge Mr. Clyburn to a series of debates, one at our alma mater at South Carolina State University in Orangeburg, and also in West Ashley. Due to redistricting, a lot of people in the West Ashley area are now in the 6th Congressional District. I challenge Mr. Clyburn to come give an account to the 6th Congressional District of his record of what he's done for the district.
All right, well, thank you very much. And we've also reached out to Congressman Clyburn's office. He is welcome on this program as well, so hopefully we hear from him shortly. But I want to thank you again, Duke Buckner, for joining us.
Layla, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You as well.
Thank
We're
you.
back after this.